All right, brand new TLC Talk Wednesday, talkers. We discuss all the gossip with your favorite TLC shows, from 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, to Doubling Down with the Derricos, Sister Wives, 1,000-Pound Sisters, everything. And we've got marriages. We have a 90 Day Fiancé former cast member who's going to jail for child pornography. WTF? And are the Duggars dead broke? If you used to watch the Duggar show, 21 and counting, whatever, 16,000 children and counting. Well, a new story says that they have fallen upon hard times. So let's get into it. Welcome. I'm your host, Sarah Fraser. Love that you are here. Lots to get to. First of all, 90 Day Fiancé, huge congratulations to Larissa. Or Larissa, I should say. Larissa, thank you. She got married. And if you need a refresh, Larissa was married to Colty, famous Colt Johnson from 90 Day Fiancé, and clashed with Debbie, Colty's mom, but not anymore. The two are besties. So Larissa got married, and she got married in Las Vegas to a guy named Zach, who we really know nothing about. People are describing him online as Colty gone motorcycle gang because he got married in a jean jacket with writing on the back. Did look very Hell's Angels. And Debbie was on there supporting her. She wrote on there, "Love you. I support you. Congratulations." The two famously did not get along, but it looks like water under the bridge. They got along once Larissa and Colty divorced, which was in 2019. Now, Colty has been remarried to Vanessa, but does not look like things are good. And will we ever see Colty back on a show? I believe he is coming back. They think they may be doing Last Resort, but I'm not sure if it's confirmed. So anyhow, congratulations to her. You have probably, if you followed her, she makes a boat ton of money on OnlyFans. Apparently, she was one of the early adapters to OnlyFans. And so that's how she makes all her money. The other thing that everybody is talking about is Happily Ever After. You know, we are now in the tell-alls. So it is Happily Ever After. Season 8 is wrapping up, and No Limits is what it's being called, because part of it, the cast is actually living under the same roof for the very first time. And everybody knows Happily Ever After season 8, Jasmine and Gino were on it. Michael and Angela famously came in halfway through the season. We weren't sure if we were going to see them because, of course, Michael ran away from Angela's in Georgia earlier this year in February. I'll get to that because Michael actually gave his first interview, talked more about it. So anyhow, those are some of the couples that are on it. The first episode aired this week, and really we find out some of the biggest shockers is that Jasmine says that she has never seen Gino fully nude. And we all know he fucks with that hat on. You know, he ain't taking that off. So I was actually a little taken aback by this. They've been having marital issues. They're not so, there's been a lot of rumors that she's got a new man in Michigan. As far as I know, they're still together and they're working it out, which is what she says on the tell-alls, which were filmed just like a month and a half ago or so. And really kind of what you've seen on the tell-all, not even that, but on the blogs and all of that. She just does a great job of leaving you in mystery because they don't post about each other a lot. But they do talk about their intimacy, which seems like it's nil and void. So they, Jasmine says they haven't had sex in months, in like 8 months. Gino says it's only been like 3 or 4. I think 6 months exactly is what she says. And then she confesses that she's never seen him fully nude. And the cast is shocked. They're doing it with the lights out. And this just seems like a man with low self-esteem. Like, cut the guy a break. She's so hot. She's had so much like work done. She looks amazing. Is Gino really going to just like take it all off for her? Like in front of that? The poor guy seems pretty insecure. And that just reaffirmed it, that scene. So anyway, the Happily Ever After is fire. There's so much going on, so much to come on that. Also, if you didn't catch it, Vinny from Jersey Shore has a podcast and had Gino on earlier this month. And Jasmine, sorry. Vinny had Jasmine on earlier this month, and Jasmine says she's never had a sugar daddy, that Gino he will search on sugar baby sites, and she has caught him in the past, but that is not how they met. They met on a legit dating site. They were not he was not looking for a sugar baby when they met. And she does say, though, if she wanted a sugar daddy, there are so many men in Panama that are lining up for her, and she could have any sugar daddy she wanted. All right. Well, there is the confidence. Okay. Get it, girl. Get it, honey. This is when I missed that Instagram, that IG guy, Kevin Samuels. Remember, all the women would come on there and he'd be like, all right, I want you to rate yourself. And they'd all be like, I'm a 10. And he'd be like, girl, there's no way. In what universe? He goes, you think you're going to get a sugar daddy to give you $20,000 a month when you got 2 kids? You're fat. Like, RIP. He was so entertaining. I would love to have seen he and Jasmine going after it. That would be so good. Anyway. So the happily ever after is really great. The tell all no limits is amazing. Now, the news to this week is where are Nicole and Mahmoud? We find out at the beginning of these tell alls, they're not going to appear. They left at some point in the season or were edited out, of course, because Mahmoud was arrested here in LA for domestic violence. And as far as I have seen, that was like back in March. I have not seen an update. I feel like August is when he had some sort of trial or hearing coming up to resolve it. But I'm sure they have to stay court ordered so many feet away from each other. They can't be just on, out on the show together. So Sean Robinson, my girl, says, that the whole entire cast wishes them well. The network wishes them well, but they're not on it. God, that's such a terrible situation. Michael of Angela and Michael has given his first interview to Entertainment Tonight, and he is explaining more in depth. Do we believe this? Do we believe this? More in depth what he saw in Angela, their relationship, and why he ran away. So he gives the interview, and he essentially says when he first met Angela, he was so attracted to her. He loves chubby women. He loved her when she was bigger. Because Angela's also gone through a huge transformation over the past couple of years. Girl's had a lot of plastic surgery. The teeth look good. She can still hide her smokes in her tits, but she looks good. The body's a lot tighter. So he says he was drawn to her that way, but that the relationship has been verbally abusive over the years, to the point he tells Entertainment Tonight that when they would see each other, and then when he moved here to the United States, like last year, that they wouldn't even sleep in the same bed together. He slept on the sofa. She was in the bedroom. They never had sex, is what he tells ET. And then he goes on to say, so ET does call him out, and they're like, okay, so you guys weren't having sex. She's verbally abusive to you, which he says absolutely to all that. And they're like, well, then why didn't you just stop? Why did you come over here? Why didn't you say no to doing the show? And he's like, look, a paycheck is a paycheck. I'm doing the show because I need the money. I want to do this. And he essentially says that he thought that his reasoning was he thought when he moved to Georgia that things would get better. He thought all their issues were because they lived apart. However, then they go to him, all right, well, why were you in this Paradise Men group chat? Which Paradise Men is a group here in the United States of Nigerian men and abroad that are trying to scam American women to get green cards and become citizens. And he's like, oh, I'm just using it as support. I wasn't in there scamming. Like, these were my friends. These are other men that have been through it. Okay, but some are scammers. You lie down with a dog with fleas, we're getting fleas. Like, what? Anyhow, Michael looked good in that interview, though. He's hot. I don't know what in the world is going on with them. I really don't. I've heard so many mixed things that they are still together to this day. I have good sources that are a part of the 90-Day franchise. A lot of people say it was true that he ran away and was blindsided, but, the network ended up resolving it and finding him, and the two of them want paychecks, so they're going to see out the show. I don't know. I also had heard from a pretty reliable source, Angela and Michael came in mid to end of the Happily Ever After season because they're the two of the highest paid talents. So they're getting now something like $15,000 an episode, which is a lot for TLC stars. There you have it. Bit of a dark turn. Let's take a dark turn here for a second. A 90-day star, former 90-day star, is now going away for 17 to 20 years for having child pornography, for images on his computer and laptop, for kids as young as 12 or under. Michael Elshway, do y'all remember him? Season 1 of 90 Day Fiancé. So we're going way back to when this whole franchise started. Was arrested, went to trial, found guilty in Ohio. Laptop contained child porn. There were some other charges that his lawyer said that really the judge, the court could not prove without a shadow of a doubt that was him. But they feel like they got him. He was, and this is kind of creepy now when you look back at the show. So Michael married Aziza. Do you remember her from Russia? At the time, Michael was 31 and Aziza was 21. And now when he's going to jail for all this makes a lot of sense. Ugh. Ugh. But here's the thing. We don't know if Michael and Aziza are still together. They had posted of Easter of 2023 on their social medias. And by the way, they have a daughter together, Olivia. We saw this all play out on social media, on recaps of the show. She's 5 years old now. Olivia Joan. Oh, God, I want to do a show actually on that. Like growing up, my parent was a child molester. I guess you've got to ask, like, oh, I don't even want to think about it. Anyhow, it's unclear if Aziza is still with Michael. But as of a year ago, it does look like they were together. Oh, it is so disturbing. So recently, there's just been some darkness in that whole 90-day space. Now, I know it happens too in Bravo, TLC, reality stars in general. You know, when you're on reality TV, you're another breed. Like you got to be willing to go there. And there has to be a level of like, you don't have that self-filter, which makes great television, but also attracts some unsavories, as they say out here in LA. They do not call the people homeless. They call them unsavories. There you have it. Let's thank a sponsor. Horizon Fibroids. Ladies, 80% of women will have a fibroid by the age of 50. Long periods, heavy periods, bloating. Some women are dealing with so much bleeding from fibroids, they're getting iron transfusions every month or blood transfusions. Don't let that be you. If you live in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, call my guy, Dr. Will Neem at Horizon Fibroids. Go to horizonfibroids.com. They accept almost all insurance. He would love to see you. Do not get a hysterectomy before you see him because unfortunately, many women do when he has other solutions for you. Fibroids do not have to end your life. They don't have to cause infertility. They don't have to do a hysterectomy. HorizonFibroids.com. Olivia Plath, welcome to Plathville. I'm loving season 6. Oh, I am loving it. Told you 6 seasons and this show is good. Olivia Plath has moved on. While the show likes to pretend or edit it so it looks as though maybe Olivia is getting back with Ethan, it's not the case. She has a new boyfriend that she is seeing here in California, and she puts him on her Instagram. Now, we don't know his identity because she doesn't put his picture out there. And she recently did an interview, and she says that she is not planning to reveal his identity at this time. She's done the public relationship. She says it's so hard, the scrutiny, and they've only been dating for a few months. She wants to continue to get to know him before she lets it all fly out on social. He's a white guy. Looks cute. I mean, from his hands, like that's all I can say. I don't know, his hands and his arm. He doesn't look jacked. He doesn't look ripped. He doesn't look like he has tats. He looks a little, I think he's an actor. Why do I think that? I guess because I live in LA and everyone's an actor. He's either a stand-up comedian, an actor, or a realtor. That's all everybody does here. Or a podcaster like myself. Now, I was a stand-up star for a minute until they said to me, Fraser, you're going to have to go up at 11:30 for all your sets because it's all these shows out here in LA are bringer shows. You have to bring your friends to get on earlier. And I have like 4 friends. I mean, I have a lot of friends in California. They all came the first 2 shows and then they were like, I'm not coming again. Like I've seen the same 5 minutes. So then I'm like, I'm out of friends. All right. Comedy Chateau. I don't have anybody. They're like, all right, well, you're going up at midnight. I'm like, there's nobody left in the audience except for 3 drunk people. Like, I mean, these guys would laugh at a shoe. My career was short lived. Anyhow, I feel like he's an actor or comedian. That's just how I feel. I don't have any basis for that. But I'm loving Olivia Plath's Instagram. She's just revealing a lot more. She seems open. She seems happy. And I hope that for Ethan. I mean, I'm blocked by him on social media. I don't know why. I'm a fan. I want you to be happy. But she says, Olivia is saying on interview, she is really hoping that Ethan is getting therapy because she says she is not fallen for Kim Plath out there on that boat having margaritas, doing margarita time with Ken. Mm-mm. She says the family's very manipulative. All right, doubling down with the Derricos. I tease this. Some other tragedy. So Dion Derrico on his social media announced over the past week that his nephew has passed away, Amani Barkley, who was suffering from an autoimmune herpes disorder where they were even raising a GoFundMe. I don't know what's going on. You know, the Derricos, Dion and Karen got divorced like 2 minutes. They literally put up on social media, hey, everybody, we're divorced. And then 5 minutes later, they wrote in the comments, it's finalized. What state can you get that? I guess Vegas. You can marry in 5 and divorce in 5. He announced that Dion passed away while Amani passed away while he was holding Amani's hand. He went on to explain his family's history with Amani, who was the son of Dion's late brother, Christopher Turner. 2 years before Amani's death, he reached out to Dion and Dion's mother, Gigi, who we all know from the show, and a DNA test was conducted, which confirmed that Christopher was Amani's father. Dion previously revealed that Christopher was unaware of this when he passed. So, and to this day, I don't know publicly if we know how Dion's brother Christopher died. Because that's also still like out there looming for them. Oh. Dion continued, he also confirmed that donations would be used to help for burial and for the funeral costs. And he's just said, please keep us in your prayers. Because prior to that, the nephew was raising money. He was going to need some sort of transplant. Dion has been keeping fans updated on Amani's health issues in recent weeks, and earlier this month shared that GoFundMe page that was raising money to help Amani's mother, Stacy, pay for his medical bills. Amani was previously diagnosed with an autoimmune hepatitis disease and had his first liver transplant at the age of 21. Oh my God. Ugh, for the grace of God, go we, right, guys? I mean, if you have your health, I swear to God, you have everything. Everything. If your mental health is in order, you can achieve anything you want. And your physical health, you are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. Whew, it was a rough week for Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. They were snubbed by all their kids in the wake of their 40th wedding anniversary. Ain't nobody give up. You know what I was going to say. 40 years. Nobody cared. Everyone's like, y'all should have gotten divorced at 20. Isn't that so? What? How did you ever go? Anybody else listening ever go from so sweet in their life? Like, you are so kind. You're like, prayers up to a poor man that had a liver transplant with hepatitis. May he rest in peace. And a minute later, you're being a shady beach. Well, of course, we know that Jim Bob and Michelle are extremely polarizing figures now, with Josh Duggar serving a long time sentence for child pornography as well. The Duggars got married in 1984 and welcomed their oldest son, Josh, 4 years later, who is now serving over a decade in prison, of course, for those child porn charges. But not one child publicly congratulated them for being married for 40 years. Is it because things are strained? Or is it because maybe everyone wants to just go and fly underneath the radar? Not a single well wish from any of these kids, as far as anyone can tell on social media. Not even Jana Duggar acknowledged the occasion, despite seemingly being on pretty strong terms with her parents. The 34-year-old no longer lives with them. However, she remains close to them and sort of their biggest fans to some degree. So that documentary was wild on Amazon about the Duggars, too. If you haven't seen that, add that to your list. And then apparently they're broke. So a new story came out that Josh Duggar's family is struggling financially after the show cancellation. So they're saying the 19 kids, their savings are not limitless. Not much is coming in, explains an insider, and there's little hope of any of them ever getting another reality show again. Well, that's true. They say that In Touch, a source exclusively tells In Touch, members of the famous family are said to be facing a cash crunch. So, of course, Josh is, the guy's in jail for child porn, like who's ever going to hire him again? But he's not alone. Apparently, Jim Bob and Michelle as well. So they were one of the highest paid shows ever out there and one of the most watched. 19 Kids and Counting was first suspended by TLC on May 22nd of 2015 after an In Touch exclusive broke the news that Josh had allegedly molested 5 underage girls when he was a teenager in the early aughts. 4 of the victims were younger sisters Jill Duggar, Jessa, and Joanna. And Ginger. Though the family got a spinoff show with Counting On, it was canceled in 2021 following Josh's arrest in April of 2021. He allegedly used the internet to download child sexual pictures. And of course, he was in the whole Ashley Madison thing, right? He was cheating on his wife, and we all thought they were so religious. So apparently, In Touch has learned that Josh is considering writing an explosive prison tell-all book for some extra cash for he and his wife, Anna, whom he married in September of 2008, and at this point remains married to him. Honey, hit the divorce. Apparently, the finances are a huge issue right now for the entire family. So even some of the kids and Jim Bob and Michelle. Eesh. I mean, I have to imagine, because, in the documentary, they talk about how Jim Bob and Michelle paraded the kids all out there, but the kids never got any money for it. So they were never paid. They were never paid like a child stipend for the day. I think later on, as the show became so popular, they got a little something, but it was very minute, very minute. So anyhow, there you have it. There you have it. Okay. If you missed my Mary Brown 3-part series, you can go and listen. Very easy to find on the Sarah Fraser Show podcast feed, whether it's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. The 3-parter dropped July 22nd, 24th, and the 29th, the 3-part conclusion. And I have to thank you guys. I mean, just thousands and thousands of downloads, to the point that it's been picked up from People Magazine, The Sun, so many, In Touch. I love In Touch. But everywhere you look, Us Weekly did a post on the Sarah Fraser Show and Mary Brown, but multiple stories in people.com, all thanks to you guys. It was a really good week. I'm very grateful. Love doing what I do. Thanks to you guys. And more to come. Please keep the feedback coming. I love all of your feedback and comments, and definitely leave the podcast a review as well. Hit 5 stars. Tell me what you love about the show, something you would like to see improve, or a guest that you would love me to have on. I'm here for you. All right, everybody. Love you so much. Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.